Okay, so I'll tell you what this is. This is the first time we're doing this part of the program. It's really due to your response, you the parents. I'm Rabbi Fix TD Brunch, for those of you that haven't met me or nice to meet you all. And what I'd like to share with you, what's going to happen, I'll just fill you in what's going to happen. What happens is as follows. I'm going to speak literally for just 1 or 2 minutes over here right now, just to give you a general overview. But really the idea of this part of the program is to open up the floor to you, the parents. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any worries, if you have anything to say, positive, or something like that. But it's really just to make ourselves available to the parents. I know that the process is a difficult process, and a tricky process, and a confusing process, in that your daughter could be coming home, or you could be hearing all sorts of things from parents that were there a couple years ago, or 2 years ago, last year, whatever it is, and then you're hearing from the girls. And so we said, once we're here, and once there was such a strong turnout of parents that want to come, so first of all, I want to say a very big extra call to you, the parents. It is not a given. And we've run this already for a good few years. It is not a given that so many parents will take their time out to come and either just act as chauffeur, which I heard from a few parents, I'm just a driver here, either act as chauffeur to bring their daughters here, but just to spend the time to come out here and to learn a little bit more. We very, very much see you as our partners in this endeavor. Okay, going for your year in Israel is a big step for the girls. It's a step that the girls have discussed or thought about already for many, many years. Some more, some less, some more anxious, some less anxious. But it's a big year, and it's an important year, and it's a critical year, and we don't see it as coming as a little bubble devoid of any background or history. We very much see it as building off of everything that you have created and you developed, and we are proud of the fact that we can take that and continue it on. So much so, as Mrs. Barth just came over to me and said, what we created really this past year, for the first year, we created a parent chat, okay, which we weren't sure how it was going to go. That's the truth. I'm just being completely honest with you. But it was absolutely phenomenal. The parent chat is really just a chat just to give you like a little snapshot of what the girls are up to. We'll periodically just throw on the chat pictures, updates of what they're learning and what they're doing and their QLIM and where are they. And the parents just very, very much feel like they're connected, just like you have a window, a small little window into the girls' life and into their experience and into their year. I think it was very well received. Is that? Yeah.
The blog spot.
The blog spot as well. Okay, great. So then, so there you have it. So you can speak to. Ms. Barth is representing both almost alumnus, not yet. She has a daughter right now there in Eretz Yisrael, and another daughter that's considered coming to her as well for next year. So she plays a dual role. So you can pick her brain also. So that's one point that I want to mention. We don't see it as a separate endeavor. It's very much part of. The second thing is just the importance of the year. I know sometimes I think already it's pretty well accepted for girls to come for the year. What it fosters, probably more than anything else, is a tremendous independence of the girls, tremendous independence. It expresses itself to different girls in different ways. It develops a deep, deep connection to the girls' Yiddishkeit and their connection to Yiddishkeit and Judaism. And I think what it does also is gives them, as it relates to you, gives them an appreciation for you, just for what it is that you've been providing them for so many years, things that they assumed were things that were given. You throw your clothing in the laundry and automatically it just comes out clean, and then it's given, and then suddenly they come to Israel and right? So, so don't fall into that trap of, I need more clothing. You can first ask them, well, did you wash the clothing that you received? That's something that can be for sure. That's something that we wanted to touch on. Obviously, the technicals of getting a full year's credits, that's something that we're accredited on the YU, Stern, Turo, all the major colleges, all the community colleges. It's their policy, but we are a recognized accredited school. A level. Finances as well is often a concern or an issue. We have a finance department, we have a bursar's office that really does our wheels to try to make it happen, to try to help, both with internal scholarships, payment plans and whatnot. That's already stage 2 of the process, meaning the way the process goes, for those of you that are confused or first timers, The girls have about a week to give us a response, whether they want to come to us. And we said, we'd love to have you, and this is the group. There's obviously many more. This is the tri-state or some of the tri-state group. What happens is they'll respond with a yes, we'd love to attend Talmud Devorah. We can't imagine going anywhere else. We'd be crazy, which I understand. And then from there, basically, it starts the registration process, where you'll be getting in touch with our admissions office. You have that information already in the acceptance package. If you still need it, I'll provide it for you. Yes, sir?
Just wanted to ask a question. I think
This is my daughter's first choice, but there are other seminaries she applied to, and I don't know if they're going to let her know at the same time, so there's a little disconnect in terms of the time frame. Delayed, yes.
Right, I understand.
Can you address that?
On a case basis, you can reach out to us and we can try to work. Meaning, most of the schools that we work with already have given responses. There are always a lag of a couple of schools.
At the same time, so there's a little disconnect in terms of the time frame. Delayed, yes.
Right, I understand.
Can you address that?
On a case basis, you can reach out to us and we can try to work. Meaning, most of the schools that we work with already have given responses. There are always a lag of a couple of schools that will give responses later on, and then either the girl will reach out or the girl will say, it doesn't matter to me anyway, I just want to come. Sometimes the girls, like you're saying, like to just know their options and then decide, that fear of commitment. I get that. Yeah, and but that's on a case-by-case basis. You can reach out and say, we're waiting for one more school. I mean, it depends on their time frame. It depends on a few factors. You know what I mean? But we work that out.
Okay, thanks.
My pleasure. Okay, so that's really my whole promo. That's it. What's going to happen here is after you ask questions, if you have questions, really what I'm doing is I'm buying time for the girls to kind of mingle and get to know them. Well, I can't believe my parents came. That whole thing, right? So I found a way to move the parents out so that the girls can really do their thing. So the girls are doing their thing now. So I'm happy to answer any questions. When we finish up here, and once the girls finish up there, we're going to bring everybody back in here. We're going to reconvene here, and that's when we're going to have the real big privilege of hearing both Rabbi Weinberg speak, who is the host, but I'll introduce him already once in a while. He's going to speak, and Rabbi Orad speak, which we'll introduce him as well, and then I'm going to speak, and that'll be a wrap. And then all the girls' nerves will come down, and then we'll actually do it. Okay. So, any questions whatsoever? You're all mesmerized. We got this? Is it good? No questions? Amazing. No questions at the moment. No questions.
Oh, there's a question.
Okay, we have a question. Okay. Yes, there's a group flight. We'll be sending you the information. You get another package. You get another package around, I want to say June, July time-ish, I think June, with all the information and details. There's a group flight. I believe we secured the date already. I don't know what it is. Like a week or two before Rosh Hashanah. Usually. It's usually 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. That's usually our start date. You get the girls in. Okay. That's the what to you. Wrong answer? Wrong answer. No, I'm just kidding. Yom Tov is actually amazing. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the way we work is like this. We're going to send out in the information that we send out in the package. Girls that want help, they need help or want help to be signed up both to a shul and places to eat. So then you tell us if it's just Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, just Yom Kippur, and we help arrange it for the girls. Whatever the cost of the shul is, we tell you. That's basically it, but we help you arrange it. There's a lot of hand-holding that goes on. Pesach time, for example, what happens, I'll get you in a second. Pesach time, what happened for the past bunch of years. Second Seder, for example, many years, my wife and I made Second Seder for the girls, and we made it, what the girls really loved, we made it like an all-girls Seder. We just gave them the house, we gave them food, and we disappeared, and the girls literally ran the Seder, and they just loved it. They wanted to do their songs, they went on well into the night, but we arranged for them to try to help them with the Second Seder as well. The dorms are always open, something that I've said many times over when we went recruiting. The dorms are always open. Shabbos, the dorms are open. Sukkot as well. Yeah, the dorms are always open. Again, we encourage to go to families. We encourage. It's a little like depressing, especially Sukkot time. Please take into account that this is something that, it's hard for parents overseas, to hear their daughter call and cry. It's an adjustment period. And for me, probably the healthiest step that I see is the girl that's coming that's crying. To me, that's a healthy sign. To me, the girl that's coming and is oh so happy to be there and everything's perfect, this is the girl that makes me a little bit nervous. Don't you miss home? Don't you miss your family? No, great. Gotcha. No, I'm saying, it's a healthy adjustment period, and it depends. We have different experiences with parents. Sometimes the parents themselves are like super anxious about it. They don't know what's going to be with my baby. What's going to be like, we got this. I've done this before. You know what I mean? But we definitely encourage you to reach out to us, be in touch with us. And we very much encourage partnering, and that's what I started with. We're partners in this, and any information that you can give us, and any intel that you can tell us to help ease the transition, then we're very much focused on this. Between you and me, our biggest focus for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month, I would say, I don't care if they learn a stitch of Torah. How about that? How about that? I don't know what they can say. But I really don't care. I want them to settle. And as soon as they're settled, and the quicker they're settled in, then the quicker everything just kicks in and pops. There are so many places where, when that's not the focus, so we're familiar with this. Oh, it took me till Hanukkah to get adjusted. It took me till Hanukkah. That's like a benchmark for many places. Till Hanukkah. To me, that's criminal. Hanukkah is like December time. That's late in the game. It's late. And of course you have it with them, but that's very, very late, and that's Chabal. So I put all our energies and focus through many different ways of how we do it, and I can share that with you if you're curious how we do it. But many ways how we do that. Just the first month is full focus, just get comfortable, just settle. I don't think they realize, let alone we realize, how much adjustment is going on. We have 4 years in high school. You have to throw yourselves back in order to really understand what's going on for them. You have to throw yourselves back to year 1 of their high school experience. So many places where, when that's not the focus, so we're familiar with this. Oh, it took me till Hanukkah to get adjusted. It took me till Hanukkah. That's like a benchmark for many places. Till Hanukkah. To me, that's criminal. Hanukkah is like December time. That's late in the game. It's late. And of course you have it with them, but that's very, very late, and that's Chabal. So I put all our energies and focus through many different ways of how we do it, and I can share that with you if you're curious how we do it. But many ways how we do that. Just the first month is full focus, just get comfortable, just settle. I don't think they realize, let alone we realize, how much adjustment is going on. We have 4 years in high school. You have to throw yourselves back in order to really understand what's going on for them. You have to throw yourselves back to year 1 of their high school experience, right? And now throw in with that, not coming home at night to just get that pat on the back from mom or dad, or that settling down, or the homemade meal, right? You don't have that. It's a new country, it's a new language, it's girls from different cities, different countries, different states. There's a lot of adjusting that's going on, a lot. And the level of intensity that they feel with that first year, like, this is my seminary year, I better take advantage of it. It's intense. It's a lot, So they're really holding a lot, these young ladies. They don't have the experience of age, and they don't have the experience of life, and that's fact. And that's okay. It's okay. We forgive them that. We give them that space. It's okay. But we have to remember that when they call us up, like we're all stressed and nervous, and what's going to be alone? All right. Pardon? Yes, we have a nurse that comes every week to check in on the girls. We work with AIM, we've been working with AIM Medical Center for all 14 years. For 14 years, and they are a fantastic company that provides top-rate service. We have a doctor, Dr. Eagle. We get medical insurance. That's right, we get medical insurance. Dr. Eagle is an American-speaking guy. If ever, God forbid, something happens, and of course things happen. We had a girl once that decided it would be a great idea to jump on the treadmill while it's moving to see if she can keep up. And she managed to throw herself back into the wall, slam her hand into the wall, and I'll spare you the gory details. But Rabbi Eagle, this is Dr. Eagle, who was not Eagle, he was the transition, he was the person between, he was the liaison between the hospital and the parents. He spoke English, and he was well informed, and he told you, you'll get all his credentials as well when you speak with AIM. All that is covered. So far, in terms of safety, security, health, no major, It's well, you come, it's called the year of Israel, it's not really. It's, I think you come around September time, give or take. Okay, Mark.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, you also had a daughter, also on this.
Yes. Very, very nice.
We're good, we're good.
We're great.
We're great, okay, we're great, thank you. They come around September, they leave around June. It's like a 10-month. There is a second year option. There is a second year option, not something that we pressure at all. There's girls decide on their own. I think girls feel that they do well, and in general, we have a pretty high rate of return in terms of girls come back. We usually have like 15 girls come back every year, which is phenomenal. We usually have about 55 Shania girls for students. It's pretty amazing stat. You got 4 years? I mean, again, I think it's 36. Is that right? 36. Again, it depends on the college.
Yeah, like
more for the
like Turo and Stern, they'll take the full 36, but like the CUNY schools take 18. But like it's an accredited school, so the schools that would take the Hebrew credits take it.
It depends on the college that they're going to. It doesn't depend on us. We've got it, and really each college decides their own.
Girls about like personal safety and stuff.
Yes, yes. Okay, ready? There are no girls in here? I'll tell you what we do. Ready? It goes like this. We bring in the, I forgot what it's called, the Crisis Prevention Center, but we give them a much nicer name, okay? And we, at the very beginning of the year, and we bring up the girls, we bring up the 2 groups, and there's 2 sets of people that come to speak to the girls about safety. Our goal is for the girls to walk out white, okay? Our goal is to scare the living daylights out of them. Not to that extreme, but yes, the point is, you think you come to Eretz Yisrael and we're all Jews now and life is good and everything is fine and everyone is holy, which is beautiful, and not you, right? Yes, we very much in service to them about security, and we bring people, and again, then I could also say, in 14 years, we haven't had any major incident. The campus itself, it's not very used to me. Yeah, it's a completely gated campus. There's a guard there at nights.
I can tell you can't get in.
Yeah, he tries to get it. Right. Pluses and minuses to everything, right? I don't know, it's just getting up time for a little bit.
I'm worried about them in there. I'm worried when they go out.
When they go out. Right. So exactly, so we can service them, and as much as we encourage them, push, you know, but okay, we're good girls. Really good girls. Oh, okay, so that's something we'll cover with the girls. So we'll pause on that question, okay, we'll cover that as well. But it's predominantly, not predominantly, it's all Limudei Kodesh. It's all Limudei Kodesh. Right, so exactly, so we can service them, and as much as we encourage them, push, you know, but okay, we're good girls. Really good girls. Oh, okay, so that's something we'll cover with the girls. So we'll pause on that question, okay, we'll cover that as well. But it's predominantly, not predominantly, it's all Limudei Kodesh. It's all Limudei Kodesh. There's studies, just different elements of it.
Is it recommended to apply to college before they come to Israel or after?
So that you'll speak to the admissions office. I believe that if you do it through the colleges, then you're eligible also for state and federal funding, yeah. So the advantage of working through Turo, Stern, and these colleges that we get, yeah.
She's not sure which college she wants to.
So that, again, on a case by case, we'd have to discuss, you know, how to navigate it. But the answer is yes.
What restrictions on where they can go
on
campus?
I mean, you know, there are places that are the obvious places, which we don't really, you know, we don't need to emphasize so much. Obviously, if girls are found in certain places that are not appropriate. My default setting is I have to feel safe. I have to feel that I can safely be watching them so that when you call me in the middle of the year and say, hey, where's my daughter? Hey, where's she going? I can safely give you an answer.
Like, not to tell them not to go to like the retail, something like that, or not to shop or something.
Right, so, you know, our girls, it's not so much the type of girls that I tell them not to look at, you know, they may go, you know what I mean, but they'll go to the places that are okay to go, you know what I mean? They won't go to the places that are not okay. You know what I
But do you
mean?
tell them?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
They say, oh, no.
They know.
They know.
They know. That's better. They know. They know. That will not be good.
Sorry. Really sorry.
Just lock in.
I'm blocked in. Someone's in the driveway behind me. Like,
Which car? Which
the
car?
last cars to pull into the Disney Ontario plate. Right, and then the one behind that one, which is like by the street. Sorry. Sorry.
I got it. Just that wraps up the parents.
I have to say.
Right, if you could just pull in, yeah. There's not enough space. Sorry.
Are there any other
There are things that are
Okay, so we'll close this now.
But it's very odd.
You have heard me at least once, if not twice, or maybe even 3 times. Some of you parents have heard me maybe here or there, and obviously if there are any questions, so we'll take them. Okay. But I do want to give a little like Torah flavor to it, so I'll share with you a quick thought that I saw, something very, I think something very, very beautiful that I think also defines a little bit what our goal is and what our mission statement is and what we're about. Before we do that, I said thank you before, but I want to again, once again to thank the Weinbergs. Warren's heard a great thing. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't hit the water because of the dam, you know, and that was out Sakar Satov, and then Sfardel also he didn't hit, you know, and then why not? You know, Sakar Satov, okay, it's already enough. One time's enough. Answer is there's never enough of Sakar Satov. You ever hear that one? Well, I listen. I actually listen. So we have endless and undying Sakar Satov again to the Weinbergs, and it's a big source for us. I also would like to thank the alumni for taking time out. Yes. The alumni get it, they get it, they've been in your shoes, they know what it's about, the anxiety, the anxiousness, unknown, the unknown should come, shouldn't come, and they took time out of their busy Sunday mornings to come over here and suffer through like some food and you know, and so we really want to thank the alumni. I do want to make a special shout. It's always dangerous when we do this, but I think this is hands down a special shout out to Tamar Barak, who really just really goes always above and beyond for coming. What's extremely special is Tamar was year 2 of the school, which was about 13 years ago. And Baruch Hashem really still involved and in touch, and it's really very special for us. Tamar, thank you. It doesn't go without saying. It's not going without saying, right?
So you can't get rid of me.
You can't get rid of me. Right. You said it. Right. Okay. Anyway, fine. The pasuk says as follows. This past week we just read Parshas Bo v'Yomar Hashem Moshe Bo el Paro. Listen to pasuk Beis. That's the pasuk I want to focus on now. Uleman tisaper be'oznei bincha uben bincha, and so that you tisaper. We'll see what that word means in a second. Literally translated, we'll say it means recount. So that you shall recount. Leman tisaper be'oznei bincha, in the ears of your children and your grandchildren, ben bincha, es asher hiftalalti b'mitzrayim, v'sososai asher samtim bam v'yadatem ki ani Hashem. Through that you will know that I am God. The pasuk literally translates, I wrote it, in order that you recount in the ears of your sons and grandsons how I made mockery of the Egyptians, I laughed at them, I scoffed at them, says Hashem, and you can tell them of my signs, the osos that I made, how I placed on them, and you will know that I am God. The imperative word here being leman tisaper. Tisaper has a dual connotation, has a double meaning over here. And that is the key that we use, leman tisaper, obviously during the Pesach Seder, but leman tisaper is the key word that we use in recounting something to our children and grandchildren so that they will get to know God and get to have a relationship with God. What is that word L'saper? So Soloveitchik said a very beautiful idea that he developed. Leman T'saper means one of two things. It could either mean to recount, to share a story. We'll get to that one in a second. But T'saper has another root word, and that's Milashon Sefer. A sofer comes from the root of Sefer. Leman T'saper is so that we should read the book. Read it so that we should get to know Hashem. There are two elements of giving over to our children, to our grandchildren, to our students. The first element that we'll focus on is the Sefer element. There's an amazing Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. The Mishnah discusses all the things that were created Erev Shabbos Bein Hashmashos. All the things that were created, and these are mystical things that were created. And all of these things were like these supernatural things. The Pia Ason, the mouth of the donkey that spoke to Bilam, the hole that was created for Korach, all sorts of different mystical points and ideas that were created. One of the things listed that was created Erev Shabbos Bein Hashmashos is Haksav v'Hakabbalah, the written word. There's something mystical about the written word. There's something mystical about reading a book. You know, you read a book, and sometimes you become so engrossed in the book, right? You're so encapsulated that you don't even realize the time, and you're suddenly at 2 in the morning, you're like, oh my gosh, I was transformed into another realm. I was in a whole different world. Yeah? Which means what that book was able to do was bring you, right? You were transfixed. You were brought now to a whole new world that was opened up to you, where you weren't reading it as a separate book, but you became part of the story. Right? You want to know what happened to the character because you identify, you associate with that character. You're a part of that character, it's a part of you. Until you have to literally pull yourself out of it, and it's an awesome experience, right? We all experienced it. Right? Harry Potter. Was bring you, right? You were transfixed. You were brought now to a whole new world that was opened up to you, where you weren't reading it as a separate book, but you became part of the story. Right? You want to know what happened to the character because you identify, you associate with that character. You're a part of that character, it's a part of you. Until you have to literally pull yourself out of it, and it's an awesome experience, right? We all experienced it. Right? Harry Potter. You know. Right? Art Scroll said it best. I think what's their tagline? The written word is forever. The written word is forever. One of the biggest challenges we have nowadays, is that young ladies and young men, there's a generational gap. They have no identification or association or relationship with experiences that maybe parents experienced 20 years ago, or that grandparents experienced 40 or 50 years ago, and certainly not when we go back 90 years or 100 years. So how do we reconnect? How do we recreate a world that's such a rich world that has kept our Masorah and our religion together for upwards of 2,000, 3,000 plus years? So answer number one is this mystical measure called Haksav v'Hakabbalah, the written word. At Talmud Devorah, we place a tremendous emphasis on the classes. Why? Because learning how to read, and not just to read it as a homework assignment, but how to identify and connect with it. What that does is it transforms you and it moves you into a whole new realm, into a whole world where Avram Avinu is not just a mythical figure, but it becomes somebody that I can get to know, and more importantly, can become somebody that I can learn from and become a part of and identify with. We do that in many, many different fashions and forms. We do it through the hashkafa classes. We do it through the halacha classes that gives you that framework. And we do it through the textual classes, where you can sit there and take apart a sefer and learn to pick up a sefer. What Rabbi Oretz was referring to, developing this Beis Medrash program, what we are going to be having next year is called an independent study, where we have upwards of 8, 9, we'll see how many exactly, different topics that you young ladies on your own can say, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to learn this topic. But I'm going to learn it not as a passive listener, where you're just going to feed me information and I'll spit it back to you, spit it back to you, spit it back to you. No. When you are living it and you are experiencing it, you're learning, oh, I can't do that, Rabbi Fix. Oh, yes, you can. How? Because Rabbi Oretz will be in the Beis Medrash every single afternoon. 4 days, right? Not Tuesdays. Tuesdays is Chesed afternoon. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. Rabbi Oretz, with all his know-how and all his chinuch experience, will be sitting there guiding you and working you through the process. On this topic, I like this topic, I want that topic, whatever it is. Allah, whatever it is. I can't tell you how many times girls have said to us in class, oh my gosh, class is over. It is an unbelievable thing. And to me, that's one of the most gratifying statements. Class is over? No, would you believe it? Because they're reading a book till 2 a.m. and they don't realize. By far, over the past, and this has not been forever. It has not. But by far, over the past 3, 4, maybe 5 years already, the strongest piece of Talmud Torah has been the classes. By far. And I've said this when we went around recruiting our girls who were running late, will WhatsApp their friends. Oh, can somebody record? Oh, Rabbi Schechter. Oh, Rabbi Berg. Oh, Rabbi Leff. Oh, is it? And to me, it's humorous. You're in class for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. It's intense, right? I'm not going to gosh, really? Yeah, I saw that. But it's just like you read the book. When you sit there reading a book for 3 or 4 hours and you're like, oh my gosh, time flew, that's what it is. So that's part 1 of the Laman Tisacher. Yeah? That's part 1. When you learn Torah through Aksav ve'Hamichtav, when you learn Torah through this experience of connecting to what it's called, we call it a Torah Chaim, or in Talmud Torah the way we call it, and this is the tagline that Rabbi Oretz was referring to, where I don't have to tell my staff, because it's so alive in the staff, they can take a piece of paper without us asking, what's the mission statement of Talmud Torah? It's very simple, and I bet you we could do it with the alumni also. It's all about being real. It's about being real. Being real, for each girl is a different expression, and that's why I went recruiting in one place. One of the biggest compliments I got was from a seminary advisor. One of the seminary heads was on the West Coast. One of the seminary heads said to me, I just heard something about Talmud Torah. I thought you'd like to hear this. I said, I always like to hear about Talmud Torah. Let me hear it. So she said, a girl said to me, Talmud Torah is not one seminary. It's 60 seminaries. I said, I like that. It's about being real. Being real, for each girl is a different expression, and that's why I went recruiting in one place. One of the biggest compliments I got was from a seminary advisor. One of the seminary heads was on the West Coast. One of the seminary heads said to me, I just heard something about Talmud Torah. I thought you'd like to hear this. I said, I always like to hear about Talmud Torah. Let me hear it. So she said, a girl said to me, Talmud Torah is not one seminary. It's 60 seminaries. I said, I like that. That's good. Talmud Torah is 60 seminaries. We do it under the same platform of classes, but it's Aksava Kabbalah. So that's point 1. Leman Tisaper has a second meaning, and this is the second strong emphasis of Talmud Torah. Leman Tisaper also means, literally, to recount, to say a story. The best way to hear a story is when you identify and connect to the storyteller, to the person that's saying the story. And so that you could trust them. And so those greatest bedtime stories are the ones that are told to you by your mother sitting by your bed, or your grandfather, because you feel a connection and association. That happens through relationships. One of Talmud Torah's biggest focuses are relationships, connections. connections with your staff, connections with your teachers, connections with your mentors, connections with the people that are giving over this Torah's Chaim. That's the point. And this is something that Talmud Torah has been infamous for really all 14 years. As evidenced by having a young lady that's been serving 13 years. However, he's not the only one that's maintaining relationships with us from 13, 14 years ago, right? Not the only one. The staff is invested. The staff cares, and I can tell you story after story after story. And Mrs. Rosenstein, who also came all the way from Eretz Yisrael as well, landed literally today to be here and to share her experiences. Her also can tell you story after story after story of the types of connections and relationships that are formed and developed in Talmud Torah. We believe, as a hashkafas hachayim, and we've said this many times, so I won't repeat it, but in order for young ladies to thrive, they have to feel comfortable. For you to feel there's so much to adjust to, so much to get used to. And in order for you to be comfortable, you have to feel safe with the people around you. So that we place a strong emphasis just on you being comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you thrive. And when you're comfortable, I can challenge you, and Rabbi Oretz can challenge you, and Mr. Rosenstein can challenge you, and the whole greater staff can challenge you to really develop yourself. Your thinking, your skills, your stuff, your attitude, your philosophies, your ideas, anything that it is. So that you walk out, quite literally, a living Sefer Torah. If the job of the sofer is to write a sefer, then the job of the teacher is also to write a sefer. To help you write your sefer. That's the job of a teacher. Our job is to help you learn your sefer. So that when you walk out of Talmud Torah, you feel like you're a bestseller. I walk out of here, I know what I stand for. I know what I believe in. I know my mahalach. I know my derech. I know what I want, and I still have questions. But I'm not a finished product, but I'm a product who's never finished. And you keep writing the chapters of your life, and the chapters of your life, and the chapters of your life. And they're just like a publishing company, helping you along the way. That's the experience that I think your alumni will tell you have, your staff that's invested in you will tell you have, and that I know that you'll have. So with that, I want to thank you again for taking the time to come out, for taking the time to be here. This is a tremendous showing. I want to tell you something. Okay, you got me, girl. No, I'm not nervous. I'll just keep talking. Okay? But I want to tell you something. We've debated many times when we have these breakfasts. Whenever we do it, you can have it in a lot of different venues. You know, you can have it in a restaurant. You can have it in a hall. You can have it many places, in different ways. And we felt what best defines and describes the Talmud Torah experience is to have it in a home. That's what it is. We could do it in a restaurant. We could do it here. We could do it there. There's so many places that are available to do it. And we felt that if anything really encapsulates and captures the essence of what we're about, it's, no, we're a family, and we'll do it in the home. We'll do it in the living room. And we'll do it together, and we'll do it, and that's what we're about. And so we are super, super excited for the applicants that applied. We have, Baruch Hashem, really, by the deadline, we had really more applicants than we ever had, which is a tremendous chesed Hashem and a testament to my unbelievable staff and how much they put into the school. They're just beyond. I'm so honored to be working with them. And with that, we are extremely excited about you the applicants, to help you take the pages of your book and develop it more and build it more. It's a tremendous host for us to be involved in your story and in your book. And I'm excited to see the chapters of the books that you write. Okay? So with that, have a wonderful day, and let's polish the rest of the